It was really good to see in some of your videos them like totally having fun and letting loose, like on Emily's videos and things like that, because that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, it's not just people that have started a company just to start a company and be in this industry and make money. Like, so that's awesome to hear because it looked that way.
Yeah, it was. And they were like, okay, they started off, we're like, okay, we're your friends this week. We're going to loosen up. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to have some fun. Like, don't judge. And we're like, oh my God, are they going to get all crazy? And they were just like us. So it was just like hanging out with like your best friends. And they're so kind. And I don't know that we went to one place that Meredith didn't like literally introduce herself to everybody in the entire place and like talk to them and want to know their story and like talk to them about CBD. I'm like, I take some notes here because we're in St. Thomas and she left with like 9 different people's like phone numbers and emails to follow up with them about CBD. I'm like, oh, and she never once said she was the founder of the company. She was just like, oh my gosh, we're looking to grow in this area with her like baggy t-shirt on and her ball cap. They had no clue her company. And I'm like, anyone could literally do what she just did. And I need to do a training on that because it was like, okay, she makes it look so easy.
I swear, and she can wear a ball cap and a t-shirt and still look amazing. But that's so awesome. So I don't want to take up a ton of your time, but this happened last time, Lynsey. I don't have the option to record on my Zoom.
And I don't have the option on my phone.
Yeah. So I'm gonna record it on my phone, and then I can just email it. But and I also don't want to take up a ton of your time. So I think the people that are on right, what's that?
Me your host.
I can make you the host. How?
Yeah, if you click, I think it's like the top 3 buttons.
The top 3 buttons, like in the
like
settings.
On my little screen, on my little name.
Oh.
I'm sure it's on backwards. That's the least of my worries.
Is that what happens when you become 2-star, Devin? You just get to wear your clothes inside out and backwards? You don't.
That's the least of my worries. But yeah, and you can do assign host.
Okay, so you don't have that on you. So I'm just gonna record it. You know how my Zoom is. Like, you guys probably won't even be able to hear me anyway. It always messes up. So I don't know. I got like the bad Zoom, but I'm just gonna, I'll record it on my phone. So anyway, I appreciate your time, Lynsey and Devin, for obviously organizing with Lynsey for someone to win some of her valuable time. So I'm gonna let you take it away, Lynsey, and we'll keep you here for like 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, girl, no worries at all. I was excited that I got to chat with you guys. Like, you guys are, obviously, you have an amazing rock star of a leader in Sarah, and Sarah, I've got to toot your horn for a minute. Just like your PQV, and now that like your team is growing and they're following your footsteps and locked in Cabo and like all of that so early, it's like, it's extremely impressive what you're doing. You should be so proud of yourself. So I'm excited to be able to chat with this rock star of a team that you've built. But Sarah kind of asked me to chat a little bit about making May our best month ever, like steps and things to do in order to really capitalize on the things that we have going on right now. But also, what is the activity behind it? Like, what should we be doing on the daily to hit our big May goal? And that's, sometimes setting those goals can be overwhelming because it's like, oh my gosh, I want to be here. But a lot of people have no problem setting the goal. Like, I know I want to be here by the end of the month or by the end of the year or by the end of 6 months. But then they kind of like, let's just see if it happens. And it's not going to. Like, I'm always very straightforward with my trainings, if you guys haven't figured that out yet. But if you just kind of like set a goal and wait to see if it happens, it won't happen. It never has for me. It never has for anybody that I've worked with, strategized with, coached, or anything like that. So it's having a daily plan of action. So figure out what your main goal is first. Is it, and then how much? We're still kind of early in the month, but we're 5 days in. I know a lot of you already have some good numbers up on the board. Like that's, kicking off your month to a great start with the new product launch and all of that. So how much more do you want to grow until, like, where do you want to end May 31st? And how much, is there 31 days in May?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, mm-hmm. I'm like about to look at my calendar. How many days are in the month? But so we have 25 more days, right? 26 more days in the month. I say I'm a numbers person. So divide where you want to be, like where you are now and where you want to be by the end of the month, how much you need to grow by, and then divide that by 26 days. That will tell you how much you need to grow every single day. And then once it's like, okay, I know that me personally, for my personal goal, you can do it once for PQV, and then you can do it another if you have a team and you're running for like a team goal, whether it's senior team leader at 5,000 in volume, or executive team leader at 8,000, or director at 15,000, or master and above. You know, you can kind of figure out how much more you need to grow by the end of the month, and where is that going to come from? How much do you need to grow daily in order to stay on pace to get there? And then it's like, okay, now what are my activities? And for me, it always boils down to two things. Now, once your business will look a little differently once you are, you know, you're a Devin O'Corn, a 2-star master, and you're like helping your team and like all of those things. But really, until you're a 2-star master, you should be focused on your daily activities. Even for me at this point in my business, I know that I can't rely on my team to get me to the next level. I've got the best freaking team in the entire world, and I will shout that from the rooftops. But if I really want to hit that next promotion, I've got to focus on my personal activity, and I've got to focus on what I'm going to do as far as bringing in new customers, as far as bringing in new business partners, because your current team is only what they're going to do, and you can bring in more and grow to the next level if that's what your goals are. So it all boils down. Your team is going to watch you. Like, that's why, you know, Sarah does such a great job at leading from the front. Like, highest PQV in the team, in my team. It's so impressive, and she's not just trying to motivate you guys. Like, come on, guys, get your PQV up. No, she's doing it. She's inspiring you. What I've noticed is you can't motivate anybody. You can only inspire people. So I'm sure you guys watching Sarah, you're like, oh my God, look at her earning this combo trip, doing all this stuff, like getting all these PQV, getting all these shout outs, always being the top. Like, makes you want to do that too. So leading from the front, go Sarah. And you guys, if you have a team that you're wanting for them to follow in your footsteps too, do the things that you want them to do. And that's something that I learned from Meredith in St. Thomas too. She's like, when we started, we were just kind of like talking, or on the flight on the way down there. I sat next to her on the flight on the way down there and on the way home. And she said, where do you feel that you struggle? Where do you feel that you're good, that you're confident? And I was like, I'm great behind like social media. You know, I can hide behind social media and do the reels and do the readouts and all that stuff. But if I'm in person, like I'm sitting in the parking lot of a coffee shop, I'm about to go in here and work for a little bit after this. And I cannot, like, she's like, Lynsey, anybody within a 10-foot radius you should be talking to. I was like, what am I going to say to them? Like, walk up like, hey, I'm Lynsey, like, this is awkward. Do you want to join my team? Like, I can't do that. That's weird. But she was like, okay, watch me. This weekend, she literally, I think she came home with like literally 9 or 10 different phone numbers, information for people. Nobody knew that she was the founder. She was walking up to people in St. Thomas on her vacation with like a wet bathing suit on and a ball cap and a big baggy wrinkled up t-shirt because she couldn't find any of her cute cover-ups. So she was like, I'll just wear this. Like, just no one would ever know that she was the owner of the CBD company. And she was just walking up to people, starting organic conversations and just saying like, oh my gosh, how long have you been here? Like, you know, nothing to do with CBD. And then she'd be like, I love your personality. What, do you know anybody? That was her tagline. She was not directly asking. And this is something that really resonated with me because I don't do this and I'm going to start. But she was saying, do you know anybody who would be interested in this opportunity? Or do you know anybody who CBD could help? She wasn't asking, do you want to do it? Do you want to try products? She was saying, do you know anyone? And I listened to every single one of these conversations, and each of them were like, well, what about me? Like, I want to. Every single time. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Except for our boat captain. We went on a boat one day and she did it to him. And she's like, do you know anyone? He's like, my wife. She's a stay-at-home mom. She does this and I do the boat stuff. Like, she would love to do this. Every single person, it was a positive response. So what I learned from that was getting out of my own comfort zone. I do that all the time on social media, but in person, it's no different. So I want to encourage you guys. There's 2 really ways to grow this. Number one is branding, marketing yourself, and that's a great way to use social media. Because I feel like that's kind of planting the first seed or getting people intrigued before you have that conversation with them. So social media is always important, but there's kind of like a two-part thing, and one doesn't work without the other. The conversations is the other side of it, whether they are in person, whether they are through social media, whether they are picking up the phone and calling somebody, whatever it is, it all boils down to bringing people in and you reaching out, and they kind of work synergistically together. So with social media, some of the things that you should be posting about to intrigue people and the bringing people in aspect, nobody wants to really see like pictures of a bottle of CBD. Nobody cares. I know if it was like someone else selling something like shampoo or something like that, and it was just a bottle of it and a link, I'd be like, okay, anyways, like annoying, they're just trying to sell me something, and I would just scroll on past. But if it was like them talking about how their hair was so crazy and like nothing worked, and like showing them like washing their hair or whatever it is, I'm like, oh, what kind of shampoo is that? They're doing the same thing, trying to sell the same thing, but it's just the approach. People are your friend on social media because they want to see you, not because they want to see product bottles and be sold to and like be spammed. They'll probably unfollow you. And if you've noticed, I've posted things like that before, it gets no likes. It gets like 2 or 3 likes, and then I'll post something of my daughter and it gets like 700 likes. Like, what is happening? So it's because people don't want to see that. People want to see you. So but we're trying to show them that too, so you have to kind of figure out how to implement that into your life. How am I gonna show a picture of my daughter but talk about how CBD helps me with motherhood? How do you implement what you get attention with on social media, what your network likes to see you post, and then testimonials. Sharing testimonials in your stories. I think testimonials are the best kind of follow-up because, let me switch gears for a second and talk about the reach outs side of things. So many people tell me they watched me for a while. So many people tell me they were afraid to reach out to me about it, or they didn't think that I would want them on the team, or they didn't think they'd be good. And it was nothing about the opportunity, their belief in CBD, what I was doing. They were excited for me. They were proud of me and all of those things, but they just didn't think that they'd be good, or they didn't think I'd want them on the team, or, whatever. It's like, what? To me, that sounds ridiculous. But a lot of people kind of think that, or kind of think that way. So that's why these personal reach outs and these personal connections are so important. And even if you take a page out of Meredith's book, and even if you're doing it not in person but through social media, giving someone a compliment, like, you seem so well connected around here, do you know anybody that would be interested in this opportunity? So you're not cornering them. It doesn't feel weird and slimy and salesy because you're not saying, hey, want to join my team, but you're getting their wheels spinning about, oh, they're trying to grow in this area, or, oh, there's a big need for CBD around here. She's asking me if I know anyone. What about me? So, but getting out of your comfort zone to start those conversations. But then the first thing people are going to do when they hear, or when you connect with them, is they're going to click on your social media page. They're going to be like, what is she talking about? What is he talking about? They're going to look, they're going to scroll, they're going to look around, and if you don't have anything posted about what you're doing, then they're going to not, they're like, oh, okay, well, I don't see anything about this on here. So that's why it's like a two-part thing. You have to start the conversations, because you never know when someone's kind of just like sitting back, waiting for you to ask them, or approach it like, we have a gift to offer people. Maybe you guys have already experienced some of these things, but as you grow, you're going to realize even more, like, when you're building your team and when your team starts making money and it starts to become like a life-changing thing for them, like whether it takes some stressors off their plate, whether they're able to chip down on debt, or, in like my situation, I always talk about Amber Andrews. I'm sure you guys have followed her story and seen her stuff, but she has, like, during the pandemic, she's a salon owner, her salon shut down, and she thanked me so much back then. She's like, Lynsey, if it wasn't for Green Compass, I would have been without an income because I was deemed non-essential in a pandemic, and Green Compass kept the bills paid and kept my family afloat. And she would just get so emotional about it. Well, fast forward, she found out, surprise, she's pregnant with baby number 3. They were not having any more. They were done after number 2. Surprise, she's pregnant with baby number 3. Her baby has Downs. Her baby has been in the hospital since it's been born. Her baby is over 3 months old now, and she is able to sit in that hospital room beside her baby every single day and not have to leave and not be forced to go to work because of Green Compass. I just got goosebumps. I'm gonna not cry today. I've been crying about this all week. But that is the kind of gift that we have to offer people. And who are we to hold that back from someone or be like, what are they going to think of me if I ask them? You know, like, this has changed her life, her family's life. And every time I get so nervous, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if they say no? What if they say no? Who cares? You don't lose any money. They're not going to come like punch you in the face, you know, whatever. They just say no, it's not for them. And 90% of the time they say no, and a couple years later, as long as you are staying consistent in your business, they come back around. And I've been in for 3 years, long enough to see that happen so many times. Right now, I was just on the phone right before this call with a 3-way call with one of my best friends that I lived with out of college. She had done Rodan and Fields before. That was the company that I came with. She hated it. She was there for like a couple of months. She was like, oh my God, so slimy, so salesy. I will never do anything like this again. I was like, okay. So I never even asked her. She watched me for 3 years. She just joined last month, and now she's like, this is amazing. Like, why did I not do this before? And she had, said she would never do anything like this. So she's like, I watched you. I watched you on social media. I watched your success. I watched your team. I watched how much you're passionate about this. I watched how much these products are helping people, and I thought this is something I can get behind. So when we finally did have that conversation, she was all in. She was ready. So when you're doing your daily activities, when you have your set goal, if you hit it, amazing. Hustle as hard as you can to hit that goal. But if you don't, it's okay. People are going to come back around later. All you can control is what you can control. And don't let the outcome of what somebody else says or thinks control your emotions or your feeling of success, I guess, about it. Because if you're like, okay, I'm not going to bed tonight until I get a new customer, you can't control that. You can't control when anyone joins or buys from you. That is on them. But what you could say is, I'm not going to bed tonight until I connect with 3 new people and do 1 social media post. That is 100% in your control and no one else's. So you could base your feeling of success for the day. Like, did I check all my boxes? Did I work my business how I should have today? Was it something that I could fully control? Now, that's you planting all the seeds, doing those social media things, doing the conversations. Do those things, and it eventually will happen. I have never, not once, seen anybody, fail doing that. Everyone's journeys takes different, amounts of time, but the people who are showing up daily, doing these conversations, starting these conversations, offering the opportunity to people, asking what people know about CBD, if they're interested in this, doing the conversations, staying in front of people's faces with the social media, posting the testimonials. I've never seen anyone not do well with this. It may take you 6 months, depending on your network, to really see some of the snowball start rolling. It may take you a year. It may take you 2 weeks. You never know. But what if you don't try? What if you didn't even give it your all, and you watch other people who joined at the same time as you, soaring past you and having this dream life? Because I will tell you guys right now, there was so much talk about our road to becoming $1 billion company when I was in St. Thomas with Jana and the founders. $1 billion company. Do you guys even and all of that is going to come from somewhere. It's going to be underneath us, as our advocate. Are you going to get a piece of that growth? Really? Are you going to get a piece of it, or are you going to sit back and watch everybody else do it? And it all boils down to what you can control and the activity that you're doing in your business on a daily basis. And it's not hard. The hardest part is making yourself do it, getting out of your comfort zone. But it's not hard to write down 3 people's names and say, like, hey, do you know anybody who would be interested in something like this? Or it's not hard to come up with a social media post. Yeah, it might be like, oh, what am I going to post about today? But plug into the trainings. There's so much trainings on what to say, what to do, how to do it, what to post, how to do it. Like, that's up to you to plug into that stuff and learn. But actually doing it is not hard. Like, what if it could change your life? It will, or it won't, and that's up to you, you know? So I get excited about this. Obviously, I get passionate about this, just because I know we're still such a baby company. And for me, like, I personally never thought that my financial situation or my life could look like it does right now. And the fact that just with Meredith and Jana, they're like, you guys, we're a baby company. Like, we have not even scratched the surface. I'm like, I can't imagine it getting any better than this. I can't. And they're like, get ready, because you were made for more. And like, oh, it's wild, you guys. Every single one of us have that same opportunity. Every single one of us have it. It's just, are you going to take it by the horns, and are you going to run with it? So work closely with Sarah, work closely with Devin. Figure out, like, if you're like, I'm lost on the social media thing. Sarah and Devin both are amazing at social media. They can kind of guide you in the right direction and help you figure out a social media plan, what to post, when to post, and things like that. And then we're going to start doing more power hours with language on the Grow Time page, with just like, hey, let's all sit down, 30 minutes, knock it out, work together, come with your list. We're going to tell you what to say. We're going to tell you how to do these reach outs. But there's so many recorded ones too on the Grow Time page, and corporate does one every single Monday night. Do it. Like, actually sit down and do it and watch your business grow. Watch how that happens. Watch how you start to explode. So, anyways, Sarah, do y'all have any questions, specific questions about anything? Or Sarah, is there anything specifically that you wanted me to cover?
No, I mean, Lynsey, that was perfect. And I was sitting here thinking and taking notes, and I'm like, I mean, this is exactly what you're telling us, is exactly what we're told. And I've been told for 3 years, it's doing all the do. I mean, honestly, truly, it really is. But I still get a lot from you anyway. So, I mean, I have 2 pages of notes, so thank you. But no, I think that's really what I wanted to cover. I know Liz just asked about a chart with how many people are in each state. I know that, I mean, what do we have, like 20,000 advocates, and I mean, not even half are probably even really active. As far as each state, yeah, Devin said there's one from 2020, but if you even look at like the number of people living in Jacksonville, there's like how many million here. So when you reach out to people in other states, I mean, you can just telling them there's only 20,000 advocates at all, right? I mean, that just and then you can compare it to what their state is, and maybe that'll give them like a idea of how few people are really so far running the show with this $1 billion company.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking, because if there was, like, for instance, I was thinking of a mom who used to live here who now lives in Michigan, and if there's only like 20 people in Michigan, being like, hey, there's only 20 people in Michigan, like, you know, would you even be interested? I think she's a teacher up there now, you know, like, would you even be interested? She's a single mom, like, all of that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I was thinking.
So the reason that corporate doesn't share that is because a lot of people, like, for example, in Michigan, there could be 50 people that joined in Michigan, but only 3 of them are like actively working their business. We know how that works. They never get active and they never do anything, and they just bought for the kit discount or whatever. So when corporate shares those numbers, it looks like there's 50 people in Michigan when really there's only like 3, you know? So I'll tell you right now, Michigan's wide open. And the way that I would approach that, I would just say we haven't even, like, don't have a presence in Michigan yet. Like, our big leaders are in, you know, North Carolina or Florida. Like, we don't have any leaders at all in Michigan. So I'll kind of say that. And even so, like, I mean, Charlotte, where I am, I'm here. Devin Stearns is here. Amber Andrews is here. So many of the top leaders are in Charlotte, and I talk to someone every day that doesn't even know what Green Compass is yet. And we're all in Charlotte, you know? So we're just wide open everywhere. People don't even know what CBD is, really. They still think we're selling drugs over here. But But yes, there's no, like Sarah said, we say the same things all the time because there's no like secret. There's no like fast pass to success. I'm doing the same things that you guys are doing. I'm doing those reach outs. I'm doing the social media. I'm staying consistent. And that is all. Like, that's it. There's no other way, really. There's no other, I haven't learned it if there is. So it's like, the only other like fast track I could think of is recruiting a big leader from another that has like a big network already or was in another company, and they come over and they bring a team with them, and it's like boom, straight to the, they're ready to hustle. Like, that's it. But then it's like, of course, that's what we all want. We all want to get big leaders with big experience. Like, but again, how do you get that? The reach outs, the social media. There's no trick, So I think another big thing that I get asked a lot is about following up. Like, if someone says they want to buy or they want to join and then they ghost you, they're like, you said you did, like you said, send me the link and nothing's happening, or whatever. Follow up with them a couple of times. I think setting yourself up during the conversation for the follow up. So while you're talking to them, ask them, what they're looking to use CBD for, or what about the business side intrigues them, or whatever it is. So when it comes time, I don't know that I've ever had anybody say, hey, yes, I'm interested, send me more info. I send me the link, I want to sign up, and then they sign up. Like, it's never, it always requires at least one follow up or check in. So what I try to do during the initial conversation while we're having that back and forth is set myself up. I already know I'm probably going to have to follow up with this person. So let me get as much information out of them as I can. So it's going to make it easier on myself in the future when I go to follow up with them. So what are they wanting to use CBD for? What are they interested in this opportunity, or what intrigues them about this? So now I know I'm going to go to the product hub, or I'm going to go to the business hub. For my follow-up, I'm going to screenshot something off of there that's relatable to what they said. Like, if they are a teacher and they have stress, I will send them a testimonial or another teacher's story from the product hub about how the products have helped them and how they're doing this business now too. So they can literally see someone in their exact situation, and you can even add them to the product hub. What I do is I'll send a screenshot and I'll be like, there's a ton more testimonials on here if you want me to add you so you can browse around and see. I let the testimonials do the selling. Or if I've been talking to someone about sleep, using CBD for sleep or using CBD for stress, and I've already kind of followed up with them and like shared a testimonial and it still hasn't gone anywhere, I'll start posting specifically about that in my stories. Like, yes, I'm posting it on my social media, but I'm speaking directly to that person in my head. Now, everyone else can see it, but I'm speaking directly to that person. So for the next 3 days, I know they were interested in sleep. I know they were interested in using CBD for stress. So I'm going to grab all the testimonials I can find. I'm going to share for the next 3 days about me using my CBD and how it helps me with sleep, and then ask others, do a question box like, what do you guys use CBD for? What do you guys, who else has help with CBD for sleep? And you guys can comment on each other's stuff. Like, if Sarah has a question box up, you guys can put your input in it. It doesn't have to be a prospect or a customer, but just really helping each other out, and giving each other, ask each other questions. So now Sarah can, nobody knows who asked it. Nobody knows it was you. Nobody knows it was another advocate. But that really gets, other people watching when they see questions being answered, other people having the same questions they do, other people using CBD and having results for the same thing that they're struggling with, that kind of thing. So share that kind of stuff in your stories. If you have some prospects, business or product, who are interested for reason XYZ, and they just haven't pulled the trigger yet, start focusing on the reason XYZ in your posts and stories. Hold on, I see some chat stuff coming up. Oh, okay. Sarah's gonna help with that. Okay. Anyways, okay, so Sarah, you can help with the conversations, or Amber, I see that you said, no, I don't know anything about it, if you send them a video right away. So what I typically will do in that situation, and I know Sarah can send you more, conversations and ways to move forward with that, but if people don't know anything about it, I always get on their level and I relate to them because I didn't know anything about it either. So instead of me acting like some expert, like, oh, it's great, I'm going to send you this video, I'm going to do all this and this and that, they're going to be like, I don't know, I said I didn't know anything about it. I didn't say I wanted to know about it. I didn't, you know? So it's like, how do you softly move forward if they are clueless about CBD? I try to keep the conversation, or keep what I send short, sweet, conversational, and a back and forth. So if you immediately send them a video, they're probably not going to watch it because they didn't say they were interested yet. You haven't had a back and forth long enough to intrigue them to even want to watch the video yet. They're like, okay, like if someone sent me, if shampoo, I'll go back to the shampoo thing. They're like, hey, do you know anything about this shampoo? I'm like, no, I don't know anything about it. And they're like, here, watch this video. I'm like, I don't care about it, you know? But if they're back and forth, and they're like, oh my gosh, it helps with this, it does this. I was clueless. I had no idea either. Like, oh my gosh, now I'm intrigued. Send me the video. I want to watch it. The build up to sending it. So you could say, what I say at least is I was so clueless about it too. Like I was so afraid of what my family was going to think because I thought it was weed. And like I laughed. And, like we just make back and forth like, oh my God, I thought the same thing. So get on their level. Make it conversational. You are not a sales bot like trying to shove something down their throat. And you can just say, it is wild, number one, if they're interested in the business side, or if they're like, you know, you think they'd be more of a business prospect, you can say, it is wild how fast the CBD industry is growing. I had no idea. And all these people are jumping on board with this. This company is exploding. We're just still so wide open right now. So I thought about you. And then, you know, back and forth. Or on the product side, you could say, I was clueless about how many people this was helping. I had no idea. I thought it was, you know, had something to do with the marijuana plant. And, you know, make it conversational back and forth. Then use the product hub and the business hub. That's what I do first. All the videos are on there. And that's what intrigues people. I just signed a new advocate, my last new advocate. She signed a couple weeks ago. She was clueless. She initially reached out to me because she wanted some CBD for her dog. And she was a random that found me on Instagram because of my consistency of posting on social media. She found me there, came to me, wanted CBD for her dog. I was like, hold on, we've got several dog testimonials. Let me add you to the product hub, and I'll tag you in a couple of them so you can see for yourself. 1 hour later, she came back to me. She was like, holy shit, excuse my language. She was like, I didn't even realize like this could help. My son has focus and ADHD issues in school. I didn't realize this could help him too. My husband never sleeps. He's up pacing the floor, snoring all night. I never get any sleep because he's not sleeping and he won't sit still. I had no idea. So she wanted CBD for her dog. All I did was add her to the product hub, tag her in a dog testimonial. She got intrigued, started browsing around, reading other things. She ended up joining. We did her launch last night. She had 2 people ready to join with her too. So it's like utilizing the tools and the resources that corporate has, because the third-party validation is what sells. It's not what you know or what you say. They already expect you're going to say it's amazing, you're going to say it's great, you're selling it, you're wanting them to buy something, but letting them read what other people think about it. That's why the testimonials in this business are so powerful, because everyone has such amazing things to say about how this business and these products have changed their lives, you know. So use the tools that corporate has. That would be my first stop. And then if they're like, okay, I see how this is helping so many people, how does CBD even work in our bodies? Or what makes Green Compass so special or so different? Like, why couldn't I just buy it from Amazon? That is where you send a video. You've already intrigued them. They already want to know more. Then send the video. Does that make sense? And Sarah said she can help with those conversations too.
I'm sure that makes sense, right, Amber? If you don't want to jump on, I know you have the kiddos in the background, but if you have other questions. Are you there? Okay. Yeah, cool, Lynsey. I appreciate it. And I've recorded this, you guys, and I'm just going to add it on my YouTube because it's so long that I can't send it. But does anybody else have questions? I think we have like 3 minutes left on the Zoom because I don't have like the cool Zoom that can go for very long. Okay, cool. Amber said, yes, it makes sense. And yeah, send me any like text chats, you guys, or screenshots or whatever, and I can help you go to the next place with your conversations.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for letting me get on and chat with you guys. This was fun.
Thanks, Lynsey. You're the best.
I'm all on, and everybody, hopefully y'all are running for Cabo because it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Well, you'll see some of us next weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if it was a surprise or if I
Well, it is a surprise for some. Most people don't know, but.
Yay! Yay. I'll see you guys next weekend in Florida.
Yay! I had no idea. That was a surprise.
Yes, I'm so excited to come hang with y'all.
All right, well, thanks, guys. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Lynsey.
Thanks, Lynsey.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.